Hey friends, welcome back. Today I am creating a 12 by 12 layout of myself and my 2019 goals. Let's check it out.
So I'm going to start out by showing you these photos that I took. They're just a few little selfies. I printed them out 3 by 3 because what I want to do with this layout is create a grid, and I'm going to do some layering and all that good stuff. So I have some materials that I picked up from Tuesday Morning not too long ago. In fact, I hauled these videos. You guys are going to see that Tuesday Morning haul here pretty soon. And that is from a collection called Well Hello. And I loved all the colors, and I decided I was going to come home and look through my stash and see what I had that would coordinate with it. I also picked up these stickers when I was at Tuesday Morning as well. They just had all kinds of stickers at my local Tuesday Morning, which was fantastic. So I went to the stash and I picked out a few pattern papers because the idea is that I would make more than one layout from all these papers that I was pulling. And of course, there's lots of chipboard die cuts and regular die cuts and all of that that I picked up from Tuesday Morning. So I'm going to have that package of chipboard die cuts sitting next to me because what I'm doing is I'm going through all my papers. I'm sort of coordinating colors. They don't have to match per se, they just have to coordinate. So I picked out papers with orange and blue and turquoise and navy blue and all kinds of stuff. And it didn't matter the patterns. I was just really looking to coordinate the colors. And notice I said coordinate and not match because that's very important. Then I went through my embellishments and I just picked out some cut aparts. I also picked out some dimensional elements like these wood trim buttons as well as some acrylic pieces, some frames that I've had in my stash for like eons. I don't even know how long I've had those frames. Some more cut aparts, some little stars. I also pulled out some rub-ons, which I'm actually going to use those rub-ons from Studio Calico. Those have been in my stash forever. And then some more rub-ons that I got from a kit many years ago, some Mambi chips as well as some labels. I also pulled out my Nuvo beautiful, this is gorgeous glitter, and it's a fine glitter, and I love it. It's really nice. So I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with that glitter as well as those wood veneer numbers that are going to spell 2019. So to get started, I'm going to go ahead and get my background together. I have a piece of pattern paper from my stash. I don't remember the manufacturer. I'm going to go ahead and adhere a piece of navy blue paper. Well, it's kind of lighter than navy blue. I trimmed that down by about an inch, and then I also trimmed down by about 2 inches or more this white textured cardstock from Basil. Because I'm using so many colors on my embellishments and my layers, I wanted my background to be pretty subtle, but I also wanted to make sure it was framed out too. So here are my little photos. I print those on my app, on an app called PicFrame. And then to one of the photos, I added a frame from that Well Hello collection. And then I went ahead and mounted the rest of the photos against white cardstock, so I'd have a white border. So they'd stand out a little bit on the pattern papers I'm going to use to layer them with. Now I want to make sure that that 2019 is positioned the way that I want it. So I'm going to stack the numbers 2 and 0 on top of the numbers 1 and 19. And what I'm going to do later is I'm going to create a dip effect using that Nuvo Fine glitter. You're going to see that in just a few. So going to some more of my scrap papers, I cut them down to squares, roughly a little bit larger than 3 by 3. And again, just making sure that those all coordinate well with the colors in the embellishments that I'm going to use from this Well Hello chipboard piece. I think that was from My Mind's Eye, I believe. So I go ahead and I'm just creating some subtle layers behind each of my photos, so something for them to rest on. I'm offsetting those pattern papers. There's a black and white one from Felicity Jane. There's another pink pattern paper one. I don't remember where that's from. I'm going to go ahead and mount my photo right on top of that. And I use my tiny attacher to keep those layered pattern pieces of paper together. I did the same for the other set, and that's going to go with my photo there to the bottom. And this is a really great way to use up your pattern paper. It's also a great way to use patterns on a smaller scale if you're a little bit intimidated by using patterns on your scrapbook layouts. So I'm going to go ahead and mount these little squares on top of some foam, fun foam. And now I also want to do some layering behind my photos. So I'm using a tag and a banner to serve as an anchor. If you've been with me for a while and you've taken my Layering Like a Boss class, then I have this whole layering process by which you start with an anchor, which is usually a larger piece, and then you build up from there. And of course I have this nice little cactus, so I'm starting to bring in smaller elements. My layout has nothing to do with cactuses, but you know what? It was there. In fact, I'm going to put 2 on this bad boy because I can, because they're cute. So right now I'm just laying out all the elements. So I have some tags, some die cuts, a die cut that says smile, another banner that says too rad to be sad, which I thought was fantastic for a layout all about starting the new year. And then another one that says this is worthy or noteworthy. And then another banner there that I'm going to stick right underneath that photo. And then another label that says love it. So I'm just positioning all of these elements. I'm just creating little mini clusters of layered embellishments around my photo. Again, a really great way to use up your stash and to add a lot of interest without it being too overwhelming on your layout. So now I'm going to go ahead and commit once I have everything laid out. And I don't typically do that. Usually I just go ahead and commit and stick things down. And if I don't like it, I pull it right up because that's just how I roll. But this time I wanted to make sure that it was the way that I wanted it to be. So I laid everything out and now I'm gluing everything together. Also too, since I added that foam adhesive, I wanted to make sure everything was stuck together. Now I added all those labels and all those tags, putting those right down directly on the layout. And I love the way this comes together. Now for that little label that says love it, I need to add a piece of little foam there so that stands up since those photos are popped up on some fun foam, which by the way, I get questions about fun foam all the time. If you go to your local Michael's or Hobby Lobby or AC Moore or wherever it is that you shop for your craft supplies, you should be able to find some foam sheets somewhere in the store. And it's usually by Kids Crafts. So I would check that out. I'm not sure if it's archival safe or acid free rather. I'm assuming that foam is pretty much biodegradable for the most part, so it should last on your projects for a very, very long time. That's not something that I'm particularly concerned with, but if you are, then I would probably do a little bit of research on that before you actually use it. And if you know the answer to that, if it is archival, please post it down in the comment section below. All right, so I'm continuing to add the elements to each of my little squares, creating this really fun grid of layered elements. To the top where it says smile, too rad to be sad, I went ahead and popped up that label, too rad to be sad, with some foam as well, because I wanted that to have a little bit of dimension on the layout. Added that yellow tag behind my photo to the top right, which I love. It's one of my favorites. And then that little circle die cut with a little cactus, which is really cute. So I got two little cactuses, cacti, cactuses, whatever, on the layout. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and lay down that label that says this is noteworthy. Then I'm going to look at my little chipboard options here, and I love chipboard stickers. They're my absolute favorite. I'm going to shop around a couple of elements on the layout to see where I want them. I really like this arrow, but I don't think it's going to work. So I go ahead and pull a navy blue heart, because when in doubt, just slap a heart or a star on your layout. And I'm going to go ahead and put that right there on top of that little die cut. Then I see this little circle die cut with blue stripes on it of various shades, and I thought that would look nice there in that cluster. That cluster, since that green label's there, needed a little bit more blue. So I'm going to go ahead and put that right behind the layers, just tucking out and peeking out a little bit. Then I find a little flower chipboard piece, and I'm going to go ahead and put that right there by the cactus. I'm going to actually move that up just a tiny bit. Of course, you know, there's me sticking things down, pulling things up, because that's how I roll. I'm going to go ahead and put that down there and tuck that underneath. Next up, I've got these really fun epoxy pieces. Those are from, I believe, the Indigo Hills collection. I could be wrong, but that's from Pink Fresh Studio. I'm going to put those on each of my clusters just to add a little bit of a different texture to the layout. So far, so good. So now I'm ready to address the title. And at first I thought I was just going to put 2019 horizontally across the page because I wanted some space for journaling. And I thought that was going to be my plan. Then I changed my mind and I went ahead and positioned the 20 on top of the 19. Now here's where it gets interesting. So I take some double-sided tape from Scrapbook.com, which by the way is my favorite. I'm going to create a dipped effect, and I didn't want to use liquid adhesive. So I thought, well, I'll just use this double-sided tape in order to create a dipped effect with my glitter from Nuvo. So I'm going to go ahead, cut a piece. I'm only going to apply a little bit of that adhesive to the bottom. Of course, I'm not thinking. My tube breaks, so at this point I get frustrated, but no worries, I rescue it. What I don't realize at this time is that double-sided tape just stuck to my mat. That's just awesome. So I go ahead and I trim out around my letter and I fold in the extra tape. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I can save the two. Unbeknownst to me, of course, that tape is sticking nice and tight to my craft mat. So I go ahead now and I'm thinking, wow, I've got tape stuck to my craft mat, my brand new craft mat. I try to pull it up, so that takes me forever, and I finally get it pulled up. Well, then, of course, I learned my lesson. I go ahead and add adhesive to the other wood veneer numbers. I'm burnishing them with my fingers, and I'm also trimming off any excess adhesive. This Scrapbook.com double adhesive is super strong. So take a lesson from your dear friend Victoria and don't get it on your craft mat. I did have to put some Gooby Gone on there, and it was a hot mess. So anyway, it happens. So we go ahead and peel off the backing of that double-sided tape, which is really hella strong. I'm going to do that on all of the numbers. I have the 2 set to the side because I need to triage that one. I'm going to take my Nuvo glitter, which is beautiful. Just go to tonic.com or tonicusa.com, who sells the Nuvo products. I sit on their design team, and they hooked me up with all these fantastic products. And this glitter was something that we had gotten last year, and it's so pretty. I just sprinkled that right on top of that double-sided adhesive, and I'm just going to burnish that with my finger, really easy peasy. I'm going to sprinkle some of that off and dust off the excess. What will happen is that glitter will stick right onto that double-sided tape and then or adhesive, and then all you have to do is just take a paintbrush or a mixed media brush, bristled brush, and just dust off the excess. And in fact, here is my Nuvo brush. It's my favorite of all time. It's so wonderful, and it gets all those little particles off. Again, you can find that at tonicusa.com or tonicstudios.com, tonicstudiosusa.com or tonicstudios.com rather. And it is my favorite. I'll make sure I'll post the link down below. So I got all my numbers with the dipped effect ready to go. Of course, I am dusting off all the extra glitter, which, by the way, I pretty much live a life of glitter. I have a daughter who loves glitter, and she just recently sprinkled glitter all over her hair, which was fantastic. So we have glitter everywhere all over our house. So I thought, you know what, why not add to the fun? So I'm going to go ahead and grab some liquid adhesive. This is another wonderful Tonic product. It's a Nuvo product, and it's my favorite. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down on the layout. I just love having good supplies and good tools. I don't care how much paper or embellishments I have. If I have good tools, I'm all about it. There I am rescuing that too. That broke. Poor little too. But it came together at the end. Getting that all adhered down to the layout. And I'm thinking it looks really good. So I'm going to grab these thickers. I forget the name of them. And I'm trying to decide where I want to position the title. So I go ahead and I put the word dream on top of the 2019. And then I want to add just a little bit more dooley-doo to it. That's a technical term for embellishing, by the way. So I grab this arrow. I'm not going to use it, so I give up on the arrow, at least there. And then what I want to do is I want to add some more embellishments somewhere. So I'm just shopping things around, not quite sure where I want to put it. Do I want to put the arrow there? No. Where do I put the flower? How about we put the flower right there, Victoria, because that looks cute. Why not? No, we're going to move it right back over to this side. You see what I'm saying? This is what happens when you're indecisive. I try not to be too indecisive. We all go through this, right, as scrapbookers. So now I'm trying to decide what else do I want next on this layout, and I'm looking and I'm looking. And then, of course, finally, I settle on the little flowers that I want to use to cluster, the blue one, the green one, and then I pull out another one of those epoxy stickers that has a butterfly on it. I'm going to call that good. Now I'm going to pull out some rub-ons because I haven't used these rub-ons in a long time. Those are from Studio Calico. I want to say those are from 2010. So it's been a while. It doesn't seem like it has now that we're in 2019, but it's been a while. Maybe it's been a little bit sooner than that. And I'm going to go ahead and just add some to each of the clusters. And I kind of go crazy with this just a little bit, but why not? They're gold rub-on stars, so you can't go too crazy, I don't think. So I'm just adding them on. At first I think it's going to be hard for me to get them off because sometimes when you have old rub-ons, they don't rub on your project very well. But they did, so success. It looks so pretty. Look at those rub-ons. Gorgeous, and then look at the title. Okay, so now I'm thinking that the layout needs a little bit something extra. So I find these photo corners in the Well Hello die cut pack that I got from Tuesday Morning, and I'm just going to put those at either end. Sometimes I do this whenever I have a white background and it's just a little bit too much white space and I need to fill it with something else. And so these little corners worked out great. I also typed up my journaling, and I did so as a list because sometimes you just don't want to write out a whole bunch, but you just want to write some keywords or maybe a list of things for your journaling, and that's a really great idea. So it says goals. Number 1, to move in ways that challenge me. Number 2, to experience new things. Number 3, to honor and take care of myself. Wellness is essential to my life. Number 4, to read 50 classic children's books, which has been fun, by the way, so far. Number 5, to see 5 live shows of any kind. Number 6, to practice positive thinking and to live in the moment. Here's to a fantastic year, January 2019, age 37. Now here's a journaling tip. If you like to type or would love to type directly on your 12x12 layouts, but you don't have a typewriter or a wide format printer, if you type your journaling into just a regular Microsoft Word document, print it in landscape, then you will have long journaling strips that fit across your 12 by 12 layout. So just a little tip from me to you. All right, here's some close-ups of the layout. Of course, you can find more stills of the layout on the Victoria Marie blog, so make sure that you check it out. This video was made possible in part by the Victoria Marie Scrap Boss patrons. If you want to learn how to support Victoria Marie Designs, click on the link down below. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the Victoria Marie YouTube channel. And when you do, click that bell indicator. That way you'll know each and every time a new video is posted to this channel.